What's up, everyone? 7 October's here. I wanted to share my top 7 picks of horror movies to watch on Valentine's Day. And I wanted to give a premise, but in the sake of keeping this video short, I'm just going to name them off. And in the comments, if you have questions, or DM me if interested in knowing like a little bit further, or you can even watch them. So number one is going to be The Fly. It's the 1986 movie directed by David Cronenberg, and it stars Jeff Goldblum and Gina Davis. Really dope love story in there, really dope practical effects. Number two, The Mummy, 1999, and it stars Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz, and really dope adventure action is more of the vibe. I consider it horror because Universal monster, The Mummy, and so they're seeking a treasure. And it involves a cursed tomb, Egyptian priest. I'll leave it at that. Number three, 1987 Near Dark, really darker version of like The Lost Boys. It's considered more of a horror western, is what I saw online. It stars Bill Paxton, Lance Henriksen, amongst other cast, and it's directed by Catherine Bigelow. Really dope vampire film. It also has a love story in there. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that, but it's really like gory, really darker version instead of The Lost Boys. Really dope. Number four, one of my all-time favorite movies, Fright Night, the 1985 version, the OG, directed by Tom Holland. And it stars Roddy McDowall, Chris Sarandon, Amanda Bierce, Stephen Jeffries, William Ragsdale. Love this movie, horror comedy. When it's done right, this is a perfect horror comedy in my opinion. Another vampire flick. I love vampire films, but this one has a really dope teen love story as well, and really dope practical effects as well. I really love that type of stuff in horror movies, and for it to have been a lot of these movies, as I mentioned so far, like 80s or like 90s, but they had really dope practical effects. I kind of wish that these modern films would kind of take that approach. There's indie films that are doing it, and some mainstream ones too. But yeah, recommend Fright Night. And then number five, Innocent Blood. This one rarely gets mentioned. It's 1992. I like to do the premise is pretty much a vampire Dexter before Dexter existed. She preys on criminals. It takes place in Pittsburgh, and she pretty much kills criminals, mobsters in this case. Really dope horror comedy as well, and it has a love story in there. Again, these are the ones that I picked because they have some sort of love story woven into it, and it's not films that typically are on this list for Valentine's Day for horror. Usually they'll pick like Valentine's Day, Valentine, should I say. And it's really dope film, but I wanted to do films that you don't normally see in these lists, and I hope you guys dig them. Number six, Let the Right One In. I wanted to show love to the foreign horror community as well. It's a dope Swedish horror romance is what it's placed under. And it's a story about a 12-year-old kid who's bullied. His name's Oscar, and he gets bullied by his neighbor. I think they're his neighbors too. I haven't seen this movie in a minute, but they're his neighbors, and they also go to school with him. And he meets this new neighbor kid that he befriends, and there's also local murders happening in the background. This new neighbor is a kid as well, and she has a secret, and I'll leave it at that. But I hinted a little bit of what it is. Really dope film. I believe it's in Swedish, but I haven't seen it in a minute. But either way, recommend it. Really dope film. And number seven, Ready or Not, 2019 it came out. And I forgot to say the Let the Right One In came out in 2008. There was a remake, US remake. It wasn't horrible, but the original is the best. And back to Ready or Not, 2019. That one stars Samara Weaving, Adam Brody, Mark O'Brien, and other cast. I picked this one because I consider it like a self-love. I'll leave it at that. That's the reason. It's a horror comedy as well. Grace is a newlywed, as a tradition for this her in-laws, I guess, is like a rich family, crazy rich satanic family cult type of vibe. and she needs to survive the night playing this game called hide and seek, because that's the card she drew. And she has to survive the night, and that's how she wins. But I'll leave it at that. It has a cool twist at the end. Really fun movie. And so I hope you guys dug these picks. Let me know what you guys think. If this is something that you guys have seen already, if you haven't, and what are your picks maybe for Valentine's Day for horror flicks. Hope you guys dug it. Thank you guys for tuning in. Peace.